I just want to start with what happened yesterday in Baltimore because I do think it's a comforting conversation. It's a bowl or plate of macaroni and cheese for Steelers fans. There are a lot of scary monsters in the AFC. The guy that sounds like Kermit the Frog, who's on his way to the 4th Super Bowl, being chief among them.
Pun intended there?
Yes, even in a year where he led the league or didn't lead the league, but had the most interceptions of his career. Their offense was ranked in the middle of the season. He comes alive in the playoffs and looks like Superman. He's just amazing.
All I've been thinking about is Kenny Powers for the last 15 seconds. I apologize. Because I can't get it out of my brain.
Same voice, right? Yes. I've seen those mashups.
But this year, when he
elevated.
He had legitimately, and so far, do you realize that they basically will have what the Football Outsiders people, if they beat the Niners, will consider the best Super Bowl run ever in terms of quality of teams they've beaten? Because Buffalo was so highly valued.
On the road.
Baltimore was, I think, the DVOA thing.
Okay, so you're making
all-time team.
So that feeds into my point. He goes up in the playoffs.
Big time.
Big time. The guy he beat goes down. Goes way down. And it pains me to say this, because it's someone that I've had a love affair with. But if you look at the numbers, Lamar Jackson turns into Kenny Pickett in the playoffs. And I know how you feel about Kenny. You don't think the Steelers can win anything with him.
Lamar's passer rating's in the mid-70s.
Kenny's career passer rating is 78.8. Lamar's in the playoffs is 79.7.
Yeah. He goes the wrong way. And I think you can make a viable case that they should have run the ball more, but he still didn't make the plays when the chips were on the table.
He's got to want to run the ball more. Why isn't he scrambling in situations like that? It's like
he had 8 scrambles. They didn't do any design runs. They just dropped him back and did the thing that he probably isn't.
Well, there was one
at.
design run in that 4th and 1 where he could have scored a touchdown. I mean, that's why he's such a threat with his legs.
They never established what makes him great, which is they start a running game, and then when the team has to stop that, he really can get after a defense and put them on their heels. They never did that.
Yes.
I would have, by the way, felt better about had they won that game, about the AFC at large.
So would I. I said that on Friday. That's why I wanted Baltimore to win the game. Because I could have come on the air today and said, hey, the Steelers went 2-0 against this team, and they've got Lamar Jackson figured out. But I guess the next best thing for me to say is they're not going to win a Super Bowl with him as their quarterback. He melts in these situations. And I don't think there's a rebuttal for that, really.
I mean, you can start to make the argument how many teams in the AFC will win a Super Bowl as long as Mahomes is there with Reed.
Right, but at least if you have Joe Burrow as your quarterback, don't you feel like, well, we're at a disadvantage here, but at least I know this guy's going to come to play and is going to give us the best chance.
Burrow's the one guy that's active in the NFL right now that's actually done it, so you have to. But there's still...
Well, Allen's played great games against Kansas City.
And how many wins does he have?
None in the playoffs, but it's not his fault that the coach screwed up the 13 seconds at the end of the game. Lamar Jackson's throwing into triple coverage. Honestly, I've seen Flowers deserves to get absolutely murdered for his trifecta, for his hat trick that he pulled there. But how about if he actually throws a good ball, he hits him in stride, and it's a touchdown? There's not even a play there to be made by Kansas City.
I'm not going to nitpick on that too much. I think there's enough Jackson did besides not throw a good enough ball on a completed pass. I didn't think he rose to meet the moment whatsoever.
Right. So when is he going to do it, Chris? If not now, then when?
He's still got time left. He's not gonna overnight get slower.
Okay, but you buy him in a big game?
No, until I see it.
Well, right.
But that's like a very cold... Again, I'll go back to one of the things I've been saying that really seems to annoy people, not that I am unfamiliar with that. Very cold comfort to watch a division rival lose like that. Just like when I see people say, you know what I saw? It was the same thing. They showed a Baltimore fan stomping on the terrible towel and said,
again it happened?
The curse strikes again. No, it doesn't.
I didn't see that yet. Did you see that, Donnie? I've not seen Ravens
that's
fan
become
now.
A new popular thing. People have like videos of every opposing fan base stomping on a towel. So I guess you'll have one of a Niners fan doing it at some point if they lose, and if the Chiefs lose, then you'll have one of them doing it. It's just cold comfort for me to say, ha, 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 you're the 2-time MVP in a couple of days here, but you're never going to win a Super Bowl, or you're always going to have an uphill climb. Because guess what? That dragon ain't getting off the mountain anytime soon. His name is Patrick Mahomes. And by the way, the one other guy in the AFC not named Josh Allen who might be best poised talent-wise to beat him now has a real, actual NFL coach running the show. And that's Herbert.
Mm-hmm.
That would worry me. Oh, by the way, you still are in the AFC North, which has Joe Burrow, the guy you said can beat Patrick Mahomes because he's done it once. You've got to beat that guy twice a year or once a year, try to be competitive. It's very cold comfort for me. I don't come out of a game yesterday thinking kind of, ha-ha, at least they lost. That was a game, even though it was 17-10, Pony, it's probably the kind of game Tomlin would love to play. It's an old school slugfest. It still felt very far off from what they are capable of. Because even in a 17-10 game, one quarterback's brilliance was the thing that shone through and gave his team enough wiggle room to win the game.
Okay, but you don't take anything out of the fact that the guy that is looked at this year as the best player in the NFL, who's in the Steelers' own division, sucks when it matters most.
Not a ton.
Doesn't do anything for you at all.
No, it doesn't. Because, if the goal is the standard still to try to win championships?
Yes.
Well, the guy who you probably will have to go through to win championships
so
is
as a Pitt fan, when Penn State is
he's going to be there.
So when Penn State is in big games and their quarterback sucks or James Franklin can't get it done, that gives you no comfort as a Pitt fan. When Alex Ovechkin was playing awful in the playoffs before he eventually got over the hump, that didn't do anything for you as a Penguins fan? I like
the fact that for those Ovechkin years, what you're talking about, it was often the Penguins ripping his guts out.
Sure.
That's what made it fun.
Okay, but if the Penguins weren't playing them and they lose to some other team, I still would find enjoyment in it. It would still give me...
Not for me.
Still warm the cockles of my heart to see that happen.
You know what it is? Wait, we've used the Alonzo Mourning gif a lot on this show lately. It would be me in reverse, though, because doesn't he look happy at the end of the gif? It would be me starting off looking happy at the thought of the Ravens losing, then frowning because Mahomes is still there.
I don't understand why it's one-sided for you. If it creates more, if you look at it negatively, like, oh my God, they'll never beat Patrick Mahomes in a big game, that sucks.
Yeah.
The other side of it should be, I hope the Steelers eventually play the Ravens in the playoffs because they'll beat him. It should be both.
In this equation, are the Chiefs already somehow magically eliminated?
No, but just head-to-head against the Ravens. Like, I'm convinced now if the Steelers had somehow beaten the Bills, they could have gone in there and won that game.
I would have absolutely given them a puncher's chance for sure.
More than a puncher's chance. If the guy turns into Kenny Pickett in these games, Chris, they're not an elite team anymore. It's turning your own commentaries on Pickett against you here. If that's out there, and that's what the numbers say.
And they don't lie, and they spell disaster for the Ravens at sacrifice.
It's 6 touchdowns and 6 picks,
bad.
man.
I don't know. Do I come off like I'm defending him? He's been terrible.
You come off like you're deflecting the argument and turning it into something else because I feel like there's a hesitation to rip Lamar Jackson on your end. There is.
I just think in his particular case, the talent that he clearly has suggests that he actually could break out of it. He might not. He might end up being a guy who just ends up banging his head off the wall. But I would just...
They had the opposite in Flacco. Flacco was an okay quarterback.
I would not want to doubt him, even though he's given us plenty of reason
Flacco was an okay quarterback who turned into a star in the playoffs up until this year when he was 38. This guy's the opposite,
I think
Chris.
You feel like I am avoiding criticizing Lamar. I thought he was pretty much wretched yesterday and did not act as a force multiplier. My takeaway from that is just, sorry, you got a vampire in Kansas City. Remember when Brady played in his heyday? It was, well, if you make Brady play a wild card game somehow, they can't win 3 straight to get to a Super Bowl. This guy's just turned into Hawker Animal, a road warrior. He might as well come out wearing spiked shoulder pads, Pony.
All right, so answer the question. Will Lamar Jackson win a Super Bowl in Baltimore?
No.
No.
Because he's got Patrick Mahomes to go through. Primarily.
If Patrick Mahomes got traded to the NFC, would he go to the Super Bowl?
In this hypothetical, that'll never happen.
But if it did?
No, he's got Joe Burrow to go through.
Right, thank you. Now we're getting somewhere. Now you're admitting something.
I just think it's weird that you remind me of a guy who's hanging onto the edge of a cliff and all you've got to keep strength in your fingers is Lamar blew it. Lamar blew it. Lamar blew it.